looks for plot holes, and so on and so on. A few times I've replied to these emails asking these companies why they think outsourcing the creative process to a machine is actually helping writers. I usually get the same, probably AI-generated response, something along the lines of streamlining the boring part of the process, making writing more inclusive. You've all heard all of this before. Basically, because it's easier. And we're going to talk later about how incredibly bad it is for your mind to rely on a machine to do these things for you. But for right now, I want you all to take a giant step back and really look at this whole situation as if you're seeing it for the first time. Imagine you step into current year and everyone tells you how they've used AI for all these things. They used AI to put together their grocery shopping list, used AI to write a jingle for a car commercial, used AI to write an apology letter to their spouse, used AI to outline a report they're writing on Macbeth, used AI to plan and outline their novel. The first question that comes to my mind is, what has each person in these examples used their own human mind to do? How many people ask ChatGPT how to solve a conflict with their spouse, and then the AI advises an apology letter and then generates one for them? How many people wait until the AI on the shopping app sends them a notification to tell them it's time to go grocery shopping and then generates a list? How many kids in school get a homework assignment and ask Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever how they should approach it, or for ideas to get started? How many people fire up the old megacorporation LLM trained on infinity Reddit posts and use it to have a conversation about current political matters? And so on and so on. Where exactly does the human end and the machine begin? Let's put aside ethics for a moment and think about humanity. What will happen to us as human beings if we keep letting AI perform basic tasks which are absolutely essential to the human condition? Let's put aside the fact that the AI that we're allowing to run our lives and make our decisions for us is invariably controlled by a soulless multi-billionaire who is absolutely collecting every speck of data they learn about you from your AI usage, from how much cheese you eat to whether or not you use dangling modifiers. Let's put aside the fact that corporate LLMs with their corporate speak and their corporate HR problem-solving policies are being used to provide psychological assistance to the mentally unwell. Let's put aside the fact that we have officially entered the future dystopia depicted in countless dystopian movies in which a soulless machine provides everything from diagnosis to absolution. Let's put aside the fact that soulless corporate-made machines interested only in maximizing profits on a scale the average human being cannot even fathom has now also begun to resurrect the dead. Is AI the one ring of evil and blah, blah, blah? Yeah, it kind of is, but not in the way you think. The problem with apocalyptic dystopian movies is that they have conditioned us to think that the destruction of civilization will come with a huge flash of radiation and a mushroom cloud the size of Texas, when the reality is a lot more like The Matrix. No one will really know because, crucially, no one will really care. Everyone in the whole world will just slide the one ring on and use it for literally every single aspect of their lives, willfully oblivious to the wholesale civilizational destruction they are causing. I can't believe I have to say this, but we're not supposed to be using the dystopian hellscape novels and movies as civilizational blueprints. Today, we're not going to talk about the ethics of AI and plagiarism and corporations stealing art. We're not going to talk about the so-called inevitable march of progress or any of that. We're going to talk about one thing above all else. You personally, yes, you. If you use AI, it is going to destroy you. And if enough of us do it, it's going to aid in the destruction of civilization. And no, I don't mean it's going to replace you. An LLM is not going to upend the career of the next would-be Ernest Hemingway. Slop has always existed, and the finer examples of excellent human work have always prevailed. A machine vomiting slop onto the bookshelves of Barnes & Noble isn't going to change that now. Not even a bunch of Silicon Valley weirdos in their bizarre new digital dollhouse can actually replace human artists. To all the writers out there, if AI writing can actually replace what you do, then what you do isn't writing. And don't get me wrong, it is vile that AI is temporarily, at this moment, replacing the human element of the somewhat mundane writing jobs like catalog descriptions and website copy. But if you're a novelist of some kind and you find that AI is, big gigantic air quotes here, better than you, that means you need to work harder and become a better writer. And guess what? For you, the human being, that's actually possible. If you work really hard, there's no limit to how much you can grow as a writer. AI doesn't have that because it's a machine, not a person. But if you do find yourself being somewhat arguably technically outwritten by AI, that doesn't mean AI is a better writer than you. It just means you still have work to do. But we all do. There's nothing shameful in that. Any skill issues can be fixed by a human. A human just has to practice and get better. An AI is a machine that can only spit out a grotesque, soulless amalgamation of what it has been fed. So yeah, maybe the grammar will be okay some of the time. Maybe the use of prose will be a little smoother than yours some of the time. But so what? Practice your prose and get better. Eventually, you'll shoot through the ceiling of what could theoretically be possible for a machine 100 years from now. Why? Because you're a human being. The human element cannot be quantified, coded, or programmed. In the world of matter and reality, the human is king. All the rest is subject to humanity. Be it animal, mineral, plant, or digital, it is all subject to the dominion of the beings who have the use of reason. A machine does not have the use of reason, therefore it cannot have control over anything. But if you give it control over things, especially your human mind, you are reducing yourself to something less than human. And that is shameful. It isn't shameful to be outwritten by a machine that has ingested the entire canon of English literature. It's shameful to think that that means anything. A copier tasked with making a photocopy of a Rembrandt will, in that moment, be a better artist than most people. That doesn't mean anything, and no sane artist would feel ashamed being compared to a photocopier. What's shameful is giving in, to say, well, I'm not as good as I want to be, so I'm going to give up and let the machine do the thinking or the problem solving or the prose for me. Don't do that. Don't give another machine still more power over your mind and your daily life. That being said, even if the next Ernest Hemingway isn't going to be replaced by the AI, he might be poisoned by AI. He might have his talent and his drive to improve himself cut off at the knees by AI. And that's where the real danger is. It's true when I say that AI's domination of human arts is going to end. It's true when I say that humans are inherently superior by the mere quality of their being human. But what happens when human beings allow themselves to become more and more and more dependent on these AI machines and LLMs? What then? When I say AI is going to destroy you, this is what I mean. I mean that if you use it, you will be killing your creative self, killing your intellect, your reasoning, your problem-solving skills, and the soul of your literary identity that cannot grow in artificial digital soil. More than that, if you build dependence on artificial machine intelligence, you will erode your ability not just to think for yourself, but also to perceive the distinction between real and false reality. That sounds nutty, but we'll talk more about it in a minute. First, how about some facts? Here are a few which I have backed up with sources, and remember, we're still in the beginning phases of AI's overall damage to human consciousness, so in time, more will emerge. But for now, using AI reduces your intelligence, your problem-solving skills, and your creative elasticity. Using AI reduces your own vocabulary, grammar skills, and reading comprehension skills. Using AI removes difficulty from the creative or work process, which decreases the quality of the work and your emotional and psychological satisfaction in your